What is going on, everybody? Mario Munguia here in Fighting FX, in Fighting Exchange. You know what time it is, because the exchange is happening right before our eyes as TKO, Dana White, WWE, Saudi, The Ring, everybody that is conglomerated into this massive combat sports force is taking over. But that is why you got me on tap, because this show is needed to cover the far spectrum of what's happening right now, right? Because you got boxing on one side and the big, great, beautiful fight that was Roach and Pitbull this weekend. A lot of people calling it a robbery, using the word robbery. Dan, shout out to Dan inside the roast. And what else is he on? I forgot. But he's got the podcast with Algeri. Awesome stuff. I'm definitely sub. You should too. But Dan, he went on this whole it was like this kind of like virtue signaling, right? Everybody knows Texas is like the shittiest place in the world when it comes to corruption in boxing, in America, I mean. And there are so many examples that we could use and pull from that show, Texas is a shitty commission. I mean, all you got to do is look at Lawrence Cole and his record, and that'll show you exactly what, where Texas falls in terms of incompetence and possibly just like blatant corruption. Who knows? But I mean, I do a little, but the thing is I don't think that was this weekend. So many people putting the Tank fight and the Tank draw into the mix. This is like such a different fight. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about why Lamont Roach, whether he should have gotten the nod or not, whether this fight could have been scored a draw or not, why Lamont Roach is the one who I think deserves to have the upside in the fight, right? When you get a draw, it's, kissing your sisters, kind of how they described it in the past. I've never had a sister, so, that doesn't bother me as much, but like the situation that it's like neither one of these guys is going to excel. Neither one of these guys is going to, elevate right off of this draw. And I don't think that's true. I really don't. In fact, I think Lamont Roach has plenty of reasons to be not just satisfied with his performance, but happy with the fight, and yeah, of course he's going to be not happy about the draw, dissatisfied. He has every right to be like super pissed off about 2 draws in a row. And we're going to talk about all that. Why do the fans not have right to be upset about it? Not that they don't have the right, but why are they sugarcoating this just because it's just like Tank hate? That's really all it comes down to every single time. It's just Tank hate. But we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about MMA, UFC 323, a pair of title fights. Okay. These were 2 of the most dominant champions of this current era. Okay. Merab, Pantoja. In fact, Merab was going for the record for title defenses. And wow, what an amazing main event for the UFC. But you have to talk about the card in its entirety. And to do that, you got to go from top to bottom. Henry Cejudo gets his fucking ass kicked. And if that dude wasn't retiring on that night, I don't know what he was going to do, because there's no way, win or lose, he wasn't going to retire. They had the video package ready for him. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Pantoja's incredible injury. And when I say incredible, I don't mean like good. I mean like it's incredible that this guy did not break his fucking arm, dude. I mean, we were on live. We were live on Saturday. Shout out to my parents who let us host the fight night parties there at their house. There wasn't a lot of people into this weekend's card. I mean, boxing fans, yes, hardcore boxing fans. All my boys were watching, but like nobody was in the festive mood, right? Like nobody wanted to get together and have a few drinks. I mean, it was kind of just the same old guys. And I don't know if that spoke to something else, right? In combat sports right now. It's like you can have Pitbull and you can have Roach, two of absolutely without a doubt, two of the most uh two of the most you know, like they've earned it, right? When you look at boxing and you look at people who are in certain positions, some of these guys, they don't earn it. You know what I mean? Uh And guys like Oshaki Foster, shout out to Shock. Great performance, proved me wrong. Although that was my pick. I want to make sure everybody understands this was my pick before the weigh-in. That's why I always tell people, you don't want to bet until the weigh-in. I mean, unless you're going to get crazy money, right? And that does happen. So I'm not saying like don't bet before the weigh-in, obviously. But in close fights or fights where you're unsure, let it get to Friday. Like, who gives a fuck? If you have the ability to see, if you've been watching boxing long enough that you have that leg up on everyone else when it comes to being here before, seeing what it, you know, what guys look like, you know, in the press conference, right? Or on weigh-in, right? Or even on the night of the fight in the back. Like all those things are very, very what's the word? They're very, very not just important, they're very telling. You know what I'm saying? So would I have still picked Fulton? No, I don't think I would have. I really don't. You know, this was a situation where I assumed Foster was going to struggle at a certain weight. And this was a situation where I didn't realize how, I don't even want to say how long he'd been fighting there, but I don't know. It was just that threw a whole wrench in it. So I'm gonna take the L. Like I'm never afraid to get a fight wrong. It hasn't happened a lot this year. I'll be honest. Most big fights other than Conor Ben Eubank won, is probably the only other major fight that I've gotten wrong this year. And that's like not even me. I mean, I'm shocked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not over here like, yeah, I'm fucking blah, blah. Like, I've been picking them like fucking Nostradamus. No, not at all. I'm shocked how accurate I've been this year. Fulton was checked out mentally. Shout out to it's Matt. Yo, I'm going to still go Machine Gun Champ. I'm going to still go Machine. Wait, no, that's the same thing, right? I think that is your, no, that's not your same handle. What was your handle before? I know you changed it, right? That's changed. But either way, shout out to Machine Gun Matt, who was live, I think earlier today, if not earlier yesterday. But you know, shout out to him. You know, they do all the sports, right? And right now they're talking college football, they're talking the bracket, they're talking Texas. And do they deserve to get? Well, that was actually last week, but yeah, that was a great show, Matt, and keep on chopping it up. If you want to come on, let me know. Or if you want to go live and tap in too, I don't care. You're more than welcome. Abe's coming on in 15-20. So, you know, after that, if you want to jump on and, you know, share it to your Twitch or YouTube fam, more than welcome. YouTube changed everyone's chat handles. Did they? Oh shit. I didn't even notice that. Appreciate the heads up. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to talk about the UFC. We're going to talk about the PBC. But right now, more than anything, we're going to talk about John Cena. We're going to talk about John Cena for the remainder of the hour as I get into Raw. And I will be covering that tonight's episode for fightsatw.com, fightsaroundtheworld.com, where you can go and read, in my opinion, top 5 for sure, but top 3 pound for pound best staff out there for combat sports. You know, it's like a lot of people out here that do this job, right? And like I'm not gonna like hate on anybody. Like Showbiz is a great dude. I mean I've never met him. I think I've interviewed him a couple times when I was with the Boxing Voice. You know what I mean? Or he was on a couple times. I don't even remember if I know I was on for like a few of the episodes. I've been on other panels where he was on like a guest. I think he did D's show before too. I don't remember. But anyway, like, you know, like, God love these guys, right? The casual fandom has become a much bigger part of boxing than it ever was. 10 years ago, people talk so much shit in boxing, right? Hardcores are so protective of their sport. And that kind of gatekeeper shit, it's died down a lot. And that's great, right? And so this isn't me hating on him or Tone or any of these other kind of casual guys that have gotten deep into the sport and really make it all their content. But it's just that, man, you know what, dude? I'm going to fucking pick being cool today, dude. I'm going to pick not being a dick today. I'm going to pick not talking shit and not being like fucking negative. I'm just not. I'm going to tell you what I thought about all these things today on the PBC card. And we're going to also talk about Ryan Garcia and where he's at ahead of this potential Mario Barrios welterweight. I mean, talk about WBC fucking being morons. You know what I mean? And like, on one hand, trying to be like, this is decorum and this is how champions are supposed to be. And, you know, you should apologize for blah, blah. And then on the other hand, continuing with their, you know, bullshit, dipshittery, literally makes zero sense the way that they handle their business. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that. But for now, we're going to get into the John Cena stuff. It's become a thing, I think, right, online to make everything bigger than it is, and also like simultaneously like hate on everything that like it's like cool to not take things serious, right, online, or it was, or it is, or like being a troll. Like, dude, I've been doing this since like 2010, bro. Like, there's zero amount of trolling that gets to me. There's zero amount of things that I could read online. Like, I know the thing that very few people know in their like teens, in their early 20s, and that's that most of these people are full of shit, right? Most people know what's going to get clicks. Most people know what people are going to get mad at and upset at, and they're just going to say the thing that's going to piss you off so that you'll comment or you'll like or you'll follow or you'll do whatever the fuck ever it takes, right? That's all this is. That's all this whole game is, right? Neon, you know, Kick, Twitch, like Aiden Ross, Ryan Garcia, like all these fucking guys, they're just rage baiters. That's really all it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? But the amount of hate that I've seen on John Cena in the last like 48 hours, or his fandom, I should say his fandom, because it's so funny. Like, everybody that talks shit about people that love John Cena or that have been emotional about John Cena's place in wrestling, right? Like, trying to detract from what he's done, or trying to, you know, hype up or amplify their own favorite wrestlers' bullshit, right? But over the weekend, a trending topic has come out on TikTok, and it's essentially a lot of fans who are upset that this week marks the final week of John Cena's active wrestling career. That's right. If you're a boxing fan or MMA fan watching this live or on replay or whatever, yeah, as of 12/08/2025, we have officially entered the fight week of the Last Time Is Now Saturday night main events. I don't even know if it's like nobody even like at this point, let's just stop calling it Saturday night main events, right? Because it's like, who gives a fuck about Saturday night main events? This is the Last Time Is Now PLE. And if anybody ever fucking wants to, like, that's not really breaking news, champ. But yeah, appreciate it. So anyway, there's a lot of like nuance that goes into this, I think, but for my part on this show, I think that this week it will be vital for me to at least give like 30 minutes to a day to John Cena. That's weird, I know, but it matters, dude. It matters. And so, like, that's one thing, right? That's a whole other topic we could talk about. But the point that I'm trying to bring up is that there's this like really ugly fandom of people who are just like viciously attacking John Cena fans. Like it's a cool thing to do. Like if it's funny, right? Like, I didn't see a lot of people like, okay, so like when Hogan passed, the attack was like political, but it was also like emotional, right? There were a lot of black Hulkamaniacs, right? And they felt like they got stabbed in the back, right? With when it came to Hogan and all the stuff he had said. And so it's like nobody questioned at that time, though, whether Hulk had a legacy worth talking about. Nobody dared question whether Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania meant anything to wrestling, right? Like it was, should he mean as much as he means because he's a racist or he's a, whatever the fuck people said, right? And I mean, most people just said racist, but like, should we love him this much? Should we care about him this much? Should we blah, blah, blah? Like that was all of that, right? When it comes to John Cena, there is this notion, this narrative that he somehow doesn't fit the criterion of a Hulk Hogan or The Rock or Stone Cold. It's weird. It's so weird because everyone else, like, they get their flowers, they get their respect, they get their chance to leave the boots in the ring, and their fans have their moment to grieve, right? Like Taker's fans. Like nobody, I don't remember anybody on Twitter the night that Taker left those boots in the ring, like hitting back at fans on Twitter and IG, hitting back to his fans like, he wasn't dead, right? You know he wasn't really a dead guy. There was nothing in his urn. It didn't give him any power, right? Like the fuck? Yeah, I'm not a fucking moron. I'm not a 7-year-old child. But it's like, bro, Cena represents the upper echelon of the most over version of WWE ever. The most commercially accepted, wide-ranging, like this is the era where they could have had the most eyeballs. That Cena was the guy for that. But anyway, we're gonna have Abe on. He's gonna talk to us about what we got coming up this weekend. Saturday night main events: John Cena versus Gunther. Yeah, he won. LA Knight, he beat him. He had another life and death match with LA Knight, which, oh man, I don't know. Like, it's like anything that could have made this Gunther match cool didn't happen. Just absolutely didn't happen. Like anything that they could have done to make this match work for what the context of it is, they did like the opposite. I mean, going life and death with Javon Evans is one thing, right? Giving him the 1-2-3 kid rub. That's cool, dude. I'm in favor of that. Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He put Kid over on Monday Night Raw in a match that people still talk about to this day. All right. Hold up. I'm getting texts from guests. All right. So we're going to talk about this card coming up, Saturday night main events. And I was told earlier today, shout out to I think it was Super Max. Let me make sure. No, it was Matt. Shout out Machine Gun. He said that Cena has said that he's opening the show on Saturday. There's no way, right? Like, I mean, I get what he's trying to do if that's his call and if that's actually what's going to happen. I get that. I get what he wants to do, right? He's trying to put everyone else on the spotlight, right? He's trying to elevate everyone else. But it's like, damn, dude, can't we give him like one a night? Like, just let him be selfish for the fans. Like, I don't know, dude. I just think that this whole thing sucked, and now like at the last minute, we could just like make it what it is, make the best out of it. But that brings me to one of the points that we are going to also be talking about, and that is Gunther the new legend killer? Yeah. Here's the thing. He's also killing his own legend. Like, here's the thing. Tell me if this makes any sense to anybody. If anybody thinks this makes sense, please hit the link. Come on, dude. I will literally mute myself for as long as you want. You can filibuster the show and tell me how this works in a million years. That Gunther, right, this technician, like built up on the principle that his character was an absolute tactician in the ring, loses to Jey Uso, a tag team specialist, by the way, a tag team specialist. He loses at WrestleMania on the big stage by tapping out. He tapped out to Jey Uso. So then you're going to fast forward it, and Gunther ends up winning all his matches by submission, taps out LA Knight, then looks at the camera, looks in the camera and says, and Cena, you're going to finally do the thing you've never done. Quit. He's like, you're going to tap out. No, we understood the first time, Gunther. Don't repeat it. He said that like if it was like never been used before. I was just like, oh man, dude, Gunther, you've known you were gonna win this tournament for like 4 months, and how my background? That's weird.
Well, it's not weird because Booker G is on the platform, and I see Machine Gun Matt is on there. So let's go.
Yo, there is Machine Gun Matt. He is in the back. I don't know why is my thing media assets.
And while you're doing that, I'm a touch on. I'm coming hot and heavy. I'm coming on the runway hot and heavy.
Hey, hell yeah, champ.
Yo, Matt, Gunther, the new legend killer. That's what I feel like. I feel like I was thinking about this the other day. You know how in the movie Ocean's 13, when Al Pacino was there and he was like, so what do you offer me? A Billy Martin? And he was like, I don't accept. That's how I feel like this is, they're offering us the Randy Orton. And I'm like, I don't accept. I don't accept that.
Yo, that's a good metaphor, champ.
Yeah, I'm not accepting that.
Yeah, they're like Billy Martin. That was also the Ocean's 13 reference too, by the way.
They're offering the Randy Orton, and I'm saying I don't accept, and I don't like it. That is what they're doing. Gunther is they're pretty much playing up that legend killer, and I'm not for it. But guess what? Listen. I'm still holding on to a little bit of faith here, and I'm saying this. I'm saying that you can't ignore all the noise that Gunther isn't that guy for this spot. I'm still holding on to the idea that we get at show change or in show change swapperoo. That at some point, maybe in the beginning of the show, Gunther comes into the building and gets attacked by somebody, and then all of a sudden no one knows who John Cena is gonna face at the end of the night, and that anticipation continues to build throughout the whole show. Everybody online is talking about, well, who is gonna be the person that faces John Cena? Instead of dragging it out through the whole week, it's through the whole night, and as it builds, and then nobody knows what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, pow, somebody comes out.
Yo, that would be great. I would love it. I'm not even going to come close to holding my breath. And here's the biggest reason. I feel like they want to do something with that mask guy. There's no question. They want it to be, I'm hearing Seth Rollins. They want to play it out until Seth Rollins comes back. That's one idea. I mean, there's just so many different ways they could go. I think that kind of one mystery at a time is like more their style, right? And I don't know. It goes into a lot of that stuff. Abe, though, I wanted to ask you, what did you make though of John Cena's own father, making comments about Gunther, saying he didn't want it to be Gunther, saying that the fans deserved better. He even gave his like top 4. I think it was like Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, and then I know for a fact he said JBL because I remember thinking, why? Like who? You know what I mean? Like you're the one JBL fan out there. It's Cena's dad, but and then he commented on Rogan.
No pop.
yeah. You left the 9 curse words that John Cena used on the Rogan show in that one clip of him talking about his dad. But what did you think of that? Was that like good heat, did that help almost sell the idea that it's like so bad you got to watch it type of thing?
Nah, I think that
You're like, nah, WWE fucking were pissed about it.
yeah, no pop.
No
that
pop.
didn't move the needle for anything for me. Don't really care what he got to say. I mean, in respect, of course, like, you know, whatever. I think that Saturday's gonna come and it's gotta be something, man. It just can't. I saw there was a post out there that they're doing like this fan fest outside the arena on Saturday, like throughout the day. Like it's gonna be like a whole kind of like festival thing
Nice.
happening down there. So it's gonna be a big event. A lot of people are gonna be aware of it. A lot of veterans are gonna be in the house as well. Active duty military are gonna be in the house, and I think it's gonna be big. It just I know that they did it with Goldberg with Gunther. Just don't give me Gunther, man. Like listen, I would rather for it to happen what I just mentioned before, and you preserve Gunther for a fresh storyline in 2026 than to do this. Okay, he beats John Cena, and then what? Like that doesn't really move the needle for me. You beat John Cena on his last night, okay, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? If he loses, okay, cool, whatever. Like he's just not the guy. I'm sorry. Like I would have took an LA Knight. That would have been the far better choice.
Yeah, you booked that last week too. You had said, listen, I think there's still a chance they could be LA Knight. And I'll be honest, I think the pop would have been huge for that on SmackDown. I mean, you could tell just watching, that crowd knew full well what was supposed to be happening this night, right? Friday, the crowd was literally like moments where, and they even almost got me for a moment. Like I never got there to a point where I thought LA Knight was winning it. But I'll be honest, there was moments where, you had that one near fall towards the last third of the match for LA Knight. It was like his big, last blow off offensive stand. When that happened, I was like, yo, if there was any moment that they were gonna like, oh my god, let's switch this right now, like literally in that moment, like I don't think it's ever happened in the history of wrestling, probably in WWE, but if it was ever gonna happen, that moment, because LA Knight had that crowd in the palm of his hand. Cena said earlier this week, I think it was, or last week, that he wanted to work originally 220 dates. That's what he said on, I think it was a podcast or some show. He said that when he came back, what he wanted to do was work, the full schedule. Obviously, that would have been, overly, that would have been very, what's the word?
That sounded nice, but it's not realistic.
Nicer than it's realistic. Exactly. But the usage of him has come into a lot of questions. I mean, he wrestled Logan Paul 5 times this year. Okay. Most of his big blow-offs that weren't singles matches were multi-tag man matches. What will be the lasting memory of John Cena's final year, if anything? Do you think it even adds to his lore at all? Will people remember it, or will it end up in 20 years being the stain that nobody wants to remember? The year he turned heel.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think when Cena's remembered, he's going to be remembered for his total body of work, not for this final year. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like I finally watched the Cena AJ Styles match yesterday, and it was probably the best match he's had like the whole year. And so,
I think you might be right.
It was really good, and so. I think it's just overall the overall body of work, because maybe you'll remember that, or maybe you remember the sound at the Madison Square Garden when he was at Raw last week. That place was rocking. It was a zoo in there, and so maybe you remember that. But I think overall, just the overall body of work is what you'll remember. Not so much, hey, this specific match or whatever. So.
So the rumors are, or there's word that he might go first on the card on Saturday in an effort to showcase literally everyone else. We know that Obafemi is going to face Cody Rhodes this after he defeated Ricky Saints this last Saturday's match, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the whole Sand Deliver angle thing. But two-part question here. Number one, is Cena starting this off? Do you think that really could happen? Is it a mistake? And then two, if he is starting it off, does that give credence to the potential booking that Obafemi could get over on Cody Rhodes in the main event? If they're really trying to make this night all about the youth, so much so that the entire point of this event is being placed first, you have to give the crowd at the end something, right? What do you think?
I don't like the idea of John Cena going first. I don't like it. I don't like it because I'm gonna be honest with you. If Cena goes first, half those people might leave after that.
Yo, that is a very, very interesting point. The risk of didn't think of that.
Because you got to also think about like how many casuals are going
Gonna
to
be
be
in
in
the
the
building.
house that are only there to see Cena.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then you got to wonder how many people are turning off their TV and switching off Peacock on a very busy, Saturday night.
yeah,
Also, it's holidays. You know what I mean?
they'll muscle through, some shit in between.
To
You know what I
get to
mean?
Cena.
To get to Cena, but Cena first. Oh, they switching off right after.
Yeah. I can't imagine that keeps the eyeballs that they'd want.
Yeah, nah. I think you have to go Cena last. Now, do you go Cody Rhodes, Obafemi first? I would say yes. I would say yes because everybody is hyped up, tuned in. I think other than the main event, your peak is going to be right in the beginning of the show. And if look, they've been trying to bring up Obafemi for a minute. I just didn't see him being like a big top guy at the main roster. He's got talent and everything. I don't know. It's just um he just doesn't get over on me with his whole character. I mean, it's cool, but it
Yeah.
it just doesn't hit me like that. And so I don't know if he's going to be a main guy like that, but him beating Cody right in the beginning of the show, that could be it. It's not for the title, obviously, right? It's just
No,
kind of
no,
like
no,
a
no, not at
series,
all.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
they're all
this
showcase matches.
But this could very well be what the 1-2-3 Kid match was for him against Razor Ramon on that Raw show.
Yeah. It could be that big, huge propelling angle, type of thing. Abe, the rumor right now is that as of January 5th, the big Netflix Raw anniversary special that's going to be headlined by CM Punk defending his heavyweight title versus Braun Breaker, getting his first shot at the belt. There's a lot of rumors that Netflix is pressuring WWE to make it a Raw after Mania type show. There are several names, big names from NXT that are rumored to be moving up, if not January 5th, then for sure by the road to WrestleMania. Most rumors are saying it's going to be before. So that said, could you see, or in your opinion, is the John Cena final match? Oh yeah, for sure. We know they're coming. Could you see this John Cena final Saturday Night Main Event as a preview as everyone that's going to be called up? Obafemi, Sol Ruka, who else was on there?
Potentially. Because I was, Trick Williams was supposed to initially go up there because he was part of the Raw trailer last year for the Netflix show.
Oh, that's
And
right.
I don't know what happened. Maybe they just kind of like, pulled it back and wanted him to season some more or something, but I think Trick Williams is one of those guys. Trick Williams is as a guy, Obafemi.
I mean, here's the thing.
I was gonna say maybe maybe Lola Vice, but I think they wanting her to work AAA a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. I really could see that, but it's just that. Look, here's the thing. First of all, you have a overexposure problem. I think as of now, heading into 2026, there's an overexposure problem that has to be fixed somehow, right? You got wrestlers on the roster pulling double duty in AAA, NXT. Some of them are pulling triple duty, by the way, or have pulled triple duty, I should say. Javon Evans has in 1 week been on AAA, NXT, TNA before, and then there's other weeks where he's been on WWE, TNA, and NXT that same week. So you have all these sort of movements and all that. And I think that you have a big enough roster to fill it, but the overexposure of it, if you gut NXT by January, if this whole John Cena thing and let's look to the future, if all that is about taking away from NXT, is that a good likelihood that most of the big names in TNA are probably heading to NXT now?
No.
Especially when you look at the booking. So you think Santana is probably staying with TNA for 2026?
Not for the entire 2026. I think eventually
I don't even think he'll be. I don't even know if we see him on TNA after Royal Rumble. I think Royal Rumble might be the last time,
because his contract is almost up. But also keep in mind,
Joe Hendry's moving up. There's so many different names that are
but listen,
pull over.
Keep in mind that TNA move to AMC is huge.
It is huge.
That TNA move is huge, and
that's true.
So now you got guys that maybe they were ready to go, but now they're going to be on a major network TV channel, and they're like, well, maybe this isn't as bad, because AXS, in all reality, it's not offered everywhere, and in some cases you have to like have a certain package or whatever, but AMC is for the most part. So, and they might be putting in, some a certain amount of money, which allows them to pay those guys a little more. So do you overpay a little bit for Mike Santana to keep him at TNA like AEW did for Swerve Strickland?
Yeah, I think
or
I
if
think
you
that does make sense.
Yeah, or if you're Mike Santana, do you want to go to the WWE and maybe get lost in that pool?
No,
you're
right. That's a good point. And Matt agrees too. He said no, because TNA is about to be on AMC and they're expecting to get some money. So you're right. And that's the other part of this. It's like, and we don't have to get into this part of it, but it's like, man, you can see WWE utilizing every single agenda and ability and resource they have to counter program anybody that doesn't fall into the fold. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what this is like all about, is everybody falling into the WWE fold, or otherwise you're getting counter programmed. That's really what it is. If the only way you're not getting counter programmed is if you are an entity of WWE or directly, working with them. You got John Cena on Saturday. Abe, Roman Reigns likely on his way out. Cody, no spring chicken. As it relates to the Monday Raw, and I know we've spoken off air, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but now knowing what you know, Braun Breaker, CM Punk, what do you do on that night? Does Breaker win the title? Does CM Punk retain? What do you think?
I think Breaker wins the title, bro.
And now I asked you this last week. Now in the John Cena final week, Braun Breaker, you said you think he has what it takes as of now to show up and be that guy on the main stage. And I think that promo last week really showed us a lot that he does have that ability. Do you insert Breaker? Do you insert Reed? Do you insert some other name into this final week of John Cena booking? Like, what do you do? Like, I know you said that you're hoping that this big reveal maybe happens at the very end, but aside from that, what could WWE do to help launch the future other than what they're trying to do right now with booking an entire card on this idea of the future of wrestling.
Now this is my question. I'm gonna go on the website here. Is the card booked completely already?
It's not.
For
No.
Yeah, and I feel like some of the bookings will be finalized with tomorrow's
Very
NXT show.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, and so this is all like really layered in a way that they're like, okay, so you're gonna have to watch the CW to understand, and yeah, and to watch that you had to watch, the full SmackDown Raw, the tournament leading up. I just don't feel like they kept anybody's attention. I think the people that were all bought in at the beginning and expected a fun ride, they're kind of disappointed.
Yeah,
But
I
I want
mean,
to
right now is only Bailey against Sol Ruka is the only match that's booked.
other than the Cody and Obafemi, right?
Yep,
Yeah, and Saturday Night Main Events has what,
not a
an
big
hour?
card.
It has a 2-hour runtime, correct?
Yeah,
And it's never been a deep card. I mean, there have been times where there's like 4 matches, maybe.
I would say 4 matches. So we might get one from tonight and then one from tomorrow.
And see, and that's my problem, Abe. It's like you looked at this whole tournament. I actually had the bracket I wanted to pull up too. You had this whole tournament set up, right? Man, you should have just ran the idea everywhere. Like, 4-man tournament here, 4-man tournament. Like tonight, we could have seen 2 guys open up or 4 guys open up, right? Raw, and the winner is going to wrestle the 4 guys that open up NXT. You do a fatal 4-way, the 2 winners win. That they go and they have a match, on the final Saturday Night Main Events on the final night that John Cena. I just feels like the stakes are just completely sapped out of it. You know what I mean? It feels like WWE just wants to get it done with, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like very quickly.
Well, remember, I did say this on this show that the last Cena event wasn't going to feel like a last Cena event. I had told
You
you
did say
that
that.
the Garden and the one at home, or really the Garden one, was gonna feel like his last one, and that's what it is. Like this one is just to kind of get it over with and move on, and understand that he's not part of the future anymore. It's a what have you done for me lately business, sort of like a lot of other businesses. So it's thank you, John. Give him a hard slap in the back. Keep him moving.
Mm. Now, I want to ask you one final topic before we let you go. Actually, one other thing before that I saw you posted, I wanted to ask you about. But I wanted to ask you about the rumor right now we have is we are going to get Breaker Punk to run it back at Mania, and we're going to get Cody and Roman 3. Now, there's been a lot of talk this past weekend about how we got to where we are today. Now, I'm going to take you back to the end of WrestleMania last year and the storytelling that was going on. Jey Uso had the title. Sami Zayn was, sort of like hinting that he would turn heel or possibly make a super big run at the WWE Championship. He was offered a shot at the title against John Cena to go to SmackDown, refused in favor of wrestling on Raw and trying to get the belt from Seth Rollins and taking on the Vision. Everything was dropped. You got Roman. He comes in at the last minute, and everything has changed from the first half of the year to this half of the year. And the rumor, as it stands right now, the leading rumor is that Roman is not happy or adequate when it comes to Hollywood and his chase of those dreams. And he was looking to get right back into the fold for this WrestleMania. And there are rumors that it was supposed to be Sami Seth. There are rumors that it was supposed to be Braun and Roman. Braun Roman was actually the original pitch. And if you remember, midway through the year, they were the ones that were the ones butting heads. All of a sudden, Reed and the Anunnaki and this whole family faction thing started to like come, and they moved away from Breaker. Abe, as it stands right now, do you think that WWE actually has a problem with creative? I know I asked you this question last week as it related to ESPN and Disney apparently not being happy with the product they've received thus far. Now we're hearing that wrestlers are starting to feel more and more pressed about their creative and wondering, what the direction is in moments where it didn't happen as much, questioning as much. What do you think the issues here are, if there are any, with creative?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it's more of a TKO situation because and again, I don't want to keep sounding like this, but I did say this before that, you know, we were going to see more of the main guys more often
Yes,
than
you did say that.
mid-level and low guys because in their eyes, they're like, well, we're just gonna keep running out the big name guys so we can get the merch, so we can get the ticket sales and all that, because that's what's working. And so what's happening is now that's not leaving a whole lot of room for some of those middle guys and gals. So they're not appearing on the Saturday night's main event. That's only
Yep.
4 matches. They may not make the cut on a PLE, right? Look at Dawkins and what's his name? The tag team. Uh they're not getting a whole lot of burn right now,
No, not at all.
right? And so what happened to his solo run? Not Dawkins, his partner. I can't remember.
Yeah, and not Dawkins. You're talking about oh my god.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was supposed to get a solo run like eons ago, and that never happened. Um
Montez Ford.
Montez Ford, yeah. So I don't know, like those. That's a good example right there, right?
Very good example. Yes.
They're
I
really
was
good tag
excited
team,
for
but
that Montez Ford singles push.
yeah, but look, where are they at? When was the last time we saw them on TV?
Bro, good question.
Yo, Matt, no, that's on me really because I have really bad short memory, so short term memory
Yeah. No, me
sometimes.
too. Montez Ford looks like a star, but that was hilarious, Matt. Hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the thing though. Like, when was the last time they were on TV? When was the last time they were on the PLE? Like they were
Word.
added. They were added what as a late tag match at Mania, I think it was, or
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, I think it was.
Yeah, but see, I get what Matt is saying, but that's the thing. They're not impacting because they're not out there
Yeah.
enough.
No
You got to be
booking.
out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to impact? What did they do when Roman wasn't hitting the mark? They kept sending him out there, kept sending him out there. The problem is that TKO is not trying to do that. All they're looking at is where they can make money right now.
Mm.
Who's making money right now? And they'll keep burning that. What's going to end up happening though is they're not going to develop, those guys that they could develop to replace those older folks later
Yes,
on,
exactly.
and they're going to end up in a situation where they don't have a bunch of guys that are making money right away. So, and then they're gonna be like, uh-oh, like what do we do now? And then they're gonna be, forced. So I say all that to say this: they might be also pushing, the creative stance to where they want more of what makes them money right now. I don't think that they really care about who's gonna make them money in 5 years. They're wanting for people to make their money right now.
Word. Yeah, I agree. Listen, and that's so funny you said that too. It was like hearing a podcast last week and they were kind of mentioning the same things. They didn't bring up the Montez Ford, which I think is a great addition to this entire point. But they were saying how it's like the only real names that you can guarantee are going to have some sort of impact in the future are people associated with the Anawi family. You know what I mean? And when you look at it, this family has become the biggest and biggest family in wrestling. They have overtaken the McMahons. The McMahons really don't factor in anymore. And so when you look at, what wrestling family is at they're still at the top, you know what I mean? Because they have those luxuries and they're afforded that. And I think Roman Reigns and all this booking kind of fits into that narrative.
And I'm gonna
Last
tell
question.
you, and I'm
Go ahead.
gonna tell you, like this is a real opportunity for a company like AEW to really kind of gain some ground, so to speak. Because what's going to end up happening is that people are going to get tired of the same stuff over and over, seeing the same guys over and
Yep.
over.
Yep.
this is their opportunity to up their storyline game and get some real traction. They got traction, but get some more of a traction on their product, man. Because right now it's just their claim to fame are the pay-per-views, which they are hitting out the park every time.
Sure.
But then
Absolutely.
there's no follow-up and the build-up ain't there. So it's like, what are you doing? But now TNA, on the other hand, TNA is developing and building something real nice over there. And so, I could see them continually growing. The amount they've grown in the past like 2 years probably is more than what they've grown in since the beginning of their company. Period. And I wouldn't be surprised. Did AAA got like I don't know. Did they get like a ESPN Deportes? No,
Yes, they got an ESPN Deportes deal. Yes.
yeah, but I could see them getting something else like soon. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, you
so
think so? American?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
here's the thing, like not a lot of
look,
you have to pay for ESPN Deportes. You know what I mean? Like my dad has it, and I know like a couple other people that have it. There's like a lot of people that don't have
yeah,
access
but
to that. You know what I mean?
look, the numbers don't lie,
Oh, it
bro.
was Fox Deportes, right?
Fox Deportes, yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah, that's
numbers,
what it was. Thanks, Max
the
and Matt.
yeah, the numbers don't lie, man. Yeah. So was it Fox Deportes or was it Fox completely?
I think it was
Um,
just Fox Deportes, if I'm not
okay.
mistaken. I'm almost
Yeah, I mean,
positive that's what it was.
but listen, regardless, they got a little deal. I think that there's an opportunity for them to make even more money and develop it even more. So I think
Agreed.
we see more AAA. The numbers don't lie,
Yeah.
bro. Every time AAA comes on, they're big. They're big. So
Yeah. No, I agree. Listen, before we let you go, I want to ask you, you posted earlier, and I had been wanting to ask you, I've been actually wanting to ask a few people, and I've just been forgetting. Teofimo versus Shakur is set for January 31st in Madison Square Garden, and you can assure us that it's in the big,
hold
right?
on. No, excuse me. I was reading Supermax's comment.
Clean up some of the false statements.
Oh
Hilarious.
man.
Yo, I'll tell you, man.
Listen,
Don't worry, Abe. I got him after you leave. I
Mauricio
got him. Don't
deserves
worry.
everything he's got coming to him and that came to him. Pause.
For real. Word. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you. So it is gonna be in the big room at MSG, correct?
That's what I'm being told. I'm being told that
Okay.
it's going to be at the big room. Officially, they'll announce it on Wednesday during their press conference, and I guess they're going to be saving it for that. But I was told that it's going to be the big room at the Garden. We're trying to make it into a big event like that.
Is that will that work? Do you think they can make it work? Do you think they can sell the big arena?
Yes. Contrary to what people may think, as far as like Shakur and his style and everything, he does sell tickets. And when he had his fight in New Jersey, he sold, I think, what, 13,000 to fight I forgot who he fought, that he sold that. And so he can sell. People will travel from Jersey to go to the Garden for this. I think Teofimo, with his popularity, whether people like him or not, will draw. I saw something about maybe Bruce Carrington being on that card, so that would help. He's got a little following in New York. And then if Keyshawn Davis and his brothers are on this card, like what his manager wants, Jay Prince wants them to be, that can also push the needle as well as far as numbers. But they're going to need a combination of, not one person is going to draw everybody. They're going to need a combination of, all the guys on that card to fill up that arena. And Eddie Hearn's
Agreed.
Matchroom is going to be the official promoter for the event.
Oh, are they the lead promoter? Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Sounds awesome, man. Appreciate the info. Thanks for letting us know. Thanks for tapping in. And fightsatw.com. Give your personals.
Yeah, at AG 718 on X, Instagram, TikTok, and at AG Boxing on YouTube. And let me see what else. Oh, this week going to the Badu Jack Noel McCallion rematch. That's in
Man, I can't believe
LA.
they made that a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
it's a pay per view. It is what it is. I got interviews with both guys that are going to be posting on the website this week,
Yeah.
and one with Johnny Mansar, who's on that card as well. So I'm trying to
Nice.
think of
Awesome. Hell yeah.
anything else here. Nope. So we got that Saturday night's main event. Diego Pacheco fighting in
Got it,
Stockton
Max.
on the Zone, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
Hell
Matt,
yeah.
it is a
Awesome.
pay-per-view, 29.95 for the Badu Jack, and that's on ppv.com, Prime Video, Triller, and Fubo. And
Yeah.
also cable. It's also on cable. Like if you have
Oh, is it
traditional
cable too?
cable,
Oh, that's right. I saw your post. You said that.
yeah,
Yeah, that it was
yeah. If you
on
have traditional cable,
terrestrial cable.
you can order it
That's
through there too.
crazy. Yo,
Yeah.
I might just order it just so I could talk to the cable operator again. I haven't heard from her in a long time, dude. They used to call me up. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna just call her just to talk and I'll order at the same time. No. Hey, bro, I appreciate you, Abe. I'll talk
All
to you
right,
this
man.
week, champ.
All right, bro.
We'll see you
Peace.
later. Yo, that was Abe Gonzalez, fightsatw.com. And just so everybody knows, it looks like we possibly will be treated by to a visit from everyone's favorite hater. Y'all might know him by his government name, Joe, but I know him as Supermax. And yeah, he went after Abe in the chat. Yo, it was crazy how many people it was crazy chat Max. It was crazy how many people have been like caping for WBC. Yo, I saw HLD just like pomming it up on Twitter the other day, like calling it like he said D Style had Mauricio Suleiman derangement syndrome, bro. Like that's it right there. That is it. You gave yourself up, bro. You know that when you can't defend fucking shit, you just say somebody got derangement syndrome. That's all you got to do, right? You suck at debating, say somebody got derangement syndrome. You want to suck the dick of a guy who has orange hair and is terrible at politics? Tell everybody they got derangement syndrome. Like, yo, y'all got to stop with that shit. But shout out to Mex though. He he wasn't pomming at all. He was just keeping it 100 with how he felt. You know what I'm saying? And speak of the demon himself, what's going on, Supermax?
First of all, you address me as champ, as I am
Champ.
the reigning Border Wars heavyweight champion.
Border Wars
This,
heavyweight champ in the house. That's not a joke, y'all. That's not a joke. Y'all could
yeah,
make fun if you want, but my band's gonna piece you up. You know what I'm saying? It's just like nonstop blows with Supermax. You're in the corner, like, oh my god, where Supermax turned into 5 people.
yeah. Unfortunately, my fighting style is very too similar to Pitbull Cruz, who is one of the fighters that I dislike the most. Ironically enough, but
Whoa,
not
yo,
dislike, bro. But you got famous off a loss, brother.
word. Yeah, I hear that. Honestly, I do hear that. Yo, I want to get into whatever you want to get into. I do. But before that, I do want to ask you about this John Cena thing real quick. Okay. John
Shoot,
Cena went on Rogan. Obviously, like at this stage, like, you know what I mean? He's got Peacemaker out. It's like a great point to just go and do Rogan, I think, right?
absolutely.
A lot of people were shocked with how much cursing he did. Do you think that was a fair uh criticism some people had that he cursed too much?
I didn't think it was. I had no. I mean, well, you whenever you decide to read the group text, you saw me in there. I thought this was his best interview I've ever seen, and
Yeah, I saw you said that. I
maybe
saw you said that.
maybe since he did Howard Stern all those years ago, where he just came across. Because let's be honest, Cena, when you see him in these interviews, he's very robotic. He sounds like a robot. He's always very cautious of what he says and the
Yes.
things he says. And
Methodical with
this
his
one,
speech. Yeah, you're so right.
and he was here to an extent, but I feel like that's a credit to Joe Rogan where he was able to bring the comfort level of John Cena back down, and we got a human form of this cyborg that we hadn't seen in a while. I thought it
Yo,
was his
that's so
best.
messed up, Cyborg. Yeah, no, I mean it's not unfair what you just said. It's just fucked
Yeah.
up. You're being that honest. No, I'm playing. Yeah. No. I agree with that. However, right, the vast majority of people that are fans of John Cena, not fucking aware of John Cena, not have been a fan or at some point have, seen his work, fans of John Cena are mostly like really young. And on top of that, the adults, this is just my own finding of covering wrestling and being a live streamer the last 4 years. A lot of John Cena
Jesus
fans are
Christ.
very young at heart. Okay. So
Excuse me.
what do
I'm
you,
sorry. Real quick, Mario. Let me just interrupt because I'm leaving the
yeah.
gym, bro. And I know Planet Fitness prides himself on no judgment, but Jesus Christ, if you're not gonna wear deodorant, don't come to the fucking gym.
Oh
My
man,
God,
dude, if you're not gonna wear deodorant,
that's
don't leave your fucking house, bro.
that's
What the
awful.
fuck is it
You,
with people?
yeah, you're on a treadmill. God damn.
Oh
Um,
man,
no, okay. So to your point, right?
sending that
You say
stench
that,
in the
but
fucking back of you. Terrible.
like, dude. Also, a lot. First of all, how many kids are fucking listening to Rogan? A
That's
lot.
true.
You got to remember, a lot of John Cena's fans that have been fans since childhood. Who do they remember? Who made them a fan? We all loved the Doctor of Thugonomics. So
Yeah, absolutely
I
we do.
thought,
Fuck yeah.
and you know what? I thought that's why this was so refreshing to me. It was like a callback to the original Cena character that drew everybody's attention. I mean, I think we were all fans of that version of Cena.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. There was nothing better than rapping John Cena, especially because at that time WWE was starting to take like a real bad nosedive in terms of creative. Like it just felt like we were getting the same matches at that time. If it wasn't Alberto Del Rio and fucking Jericho, then it was, I mean, I don't know. I can't even remember that time because it was so forgettable. But yeah, that's a fair point though. And I like that where you took it. It's just that here's the thing, right? Like my uncle, I swear to God, Mex, I had dinner with my uncle on Saturday. It would have been my grandpa's 81st or 82nd birthday. He passed obviously a few years ago, but we were having dinner at his favorite Mexican restaurant, and he was like, "Hey Mario, did you see John Cena on Joe Rogan?" And I was like, "Yeah, I saw it." And he's like, "Oh," and so he ends up like he'll share stuff with us all the time, right? Like me, my cousins, my brother, we're all 35 or older. No, okay, we're all 32 or older. Okay. He goes,
Mid 30s.
yeah, he goes, I was going to send it to you, but there was just too much cussing. I didn't want y'all to hear it. I was like, I'm fucking 30. I'm 37, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's too much. You
But
know what I mean? But
that's
like, he
still
sees
your
us as
uncle.
young. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all,
So,
shout out to y'all for going to your grandpa's favorite spot for his birthday, even though he's in heaven. That is awesome. I love that. Number one.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, see, okay, but that's just an uncle looking at, and I get it, right? There's some people that don't like. For me, it was just refreshing because, like, I think even a year ago we had this conversation, right? Where what was he did another podcast? It might have been it wasn't with Stephanie. He did an interview somewhere where I feel like me and you in particular were like, God, it's just like he doesn't talk like that. It's worse than a politician.
Was
It's
it,
like
was it PBD or was it Kai
may
Cenat? I
have
think it might have, I don't remember. I
it
remember
may
it
have
was
it
like,
was one of the
God, he
two, and
sounded
it's
like
just
a
like
fucking robot.
you know what? It was PBD, right? Because that was the whole PBD, which normally I think he's a logical guy, but like, oh, you should have kids. That whole shit was, I think, the topic of conversation. But it's just like, dude, he does. Who talks like that? There's no way he actually speaks that way in his fucking like when he's around his family and at home, relaxed, right? So to me, he's not been a good interview. And I actually love What's Your Story with Stephanie McMahon, but even his it was like, bro, you don't there's no way you actually speak that way. Like there's just no way.
Oh, no, no way.
Um so for me personally, I think this was refreshing and it showed, you know what, Cena, I'm never gonna sit there and tell you I was a Cena guy, but I respect the history, what he meant to the business. Like I told you, the real subject should be is John Cena the last true wrestling superstar? Because look at the look at the cultural and pop culture impact he's had. I'm sorry, Roman and Cody have not done that.
Nope. You're
And it
so
hasn't
right.
been done since Cena. Not even CM Punk, and he's got a legion of fans, but we're like kind of like this cauldron of we're gonna follow him everywhere, and you know what I mean? Like there's Hogan, there's Stone Cold Rock, and there's John Cena.
Yeah. Damn, dude. I want to real quick. Matt just sent this. The Paramount launching 108.4 billion hostile dollar takeover for Warner Brothers. Now, this was reported earlier today. I saw it, and I'll be honest, I didn't think it was real. I didn't see it on any major news outlet at first. Then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And this money would go straight to shareholders. That's a huge part of what could flip the table in this situation. Mex, real quick, again, I hate to keep fucking pushing back what you wanted to talk about, but
Go
I
ahead.
want to hear this from you because you had a lot of interesting takes over the weekend about what this means with Netflix, Warner Brothers, as it relates to AEW, WWE, TKO and Paramount. Obviously, they're on with UFC, they're on Paramount, is what I meant to say. What do you think of all this, man? What do you make of all this? And how crazy is it, dude? Especially like as it relates to Hollywood and shit.
Yeah, first of all, I'm having trouble understanding how this is gonna work because I was assuming I'm under the impression that legally you cannot monopolize something, and you're gonna monopolize streaming services,
Yep.
uh, which is very fucking interesting.
Yep.
Um, and listen, man, it puts TNA, not TNA, I'm sorry, it puts AEW in an awkward position, quite frankly, at a bad time for them because they're had this happen 5 years ago, 4 years ago, even, I think they'd be okay because I think there's plenty of suitors. But as Abe mentioned, AAA has gotten hot as ever, which I personally, I don't see why not just leave them on YouTube. I think their numbers on YouTube are great, right?
They
TNA's
are.
gotten hot again. Um, and in my perfect world, it would almost force the unlocking of this, this forbidden door we always talk about, right?
Yep.
Where, but the issue I have, I don't think would be for the WWE side. I think is Tony Khan willing to humble himself and swallow his pride and play the little brother role to the WWE? Because
Yeah.
that may very
That's a,
well be his only option for television, unless he just goes straight to YouTube, which,
that's a good point.
to be honest, is not a bad idea.
Sending them to YouTube.
I don't, I, I don't think that's as bad an idea as we think. I mean, streaming is the way to go, and YouTube. I mean, AAA has done tremendous on YouTube.
Here's the thing, though. The value of YouTube is supplemented to companies that can go beyond
That is
YouTube's gates,
that is
right?
very true. But so
So it's like
so
they can continue to work so that, and then if there's still, you know, a demand, right? I mean, AEW continues to find itself in the top 10 the same way that WWE finds itself in the top 10 with Netflix. So, it's working on that platform. Does it work as well as WWE? No, probably not, right? Or definitely not. But
well,
there's still
and
some
so
value there, I think.
and that's the thing, though, right? Is when you put in this day and age, bro, everything is on the go. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm too busy. I don't sit down and watch a SmackDown. I may miss a Raw, right? Um, like even with this last with Survivor Series, you know, streaming is the way to go. And quite frankly, it was awesome to be able. We were at Bombshells, for my son watching the pay per view. So and you have the thing is the Khan family has enough to supplement AEW enough to where if you put it on YouTube and they just gain some momentum sitting over there and re-add value, I think you can afford to do that if this thing goes south and you lose a TV deal. I don't think it's a permanent move, but I don't think it's a bad idea to just build momentum and kind of reset. And with it being on YouTube, there's always controversy about well, are the numbers mixed with the max numbers, and how much are the real numbers? You'll get one solid, and I think the numbers will surprise people. I think they'll do 1.5 million on a live show, just on YouTube alone.
My bad, I
So
was on mute. Yeah, you think so? I think yeah, you have a lot of there's a lot
I
of
think,
value in what you're saying. Go
yeah,
ahead, my bad.
I just think the accessibility increases your audience. Does it now? Is it a long term solution? I don't think so. I don't think you can be on YouTube long term. Just ask NWA, but I think it would be a good reset for them and a good place to get momentum.
Well, I will say this though. I remember we had a conversation, man, I think it was like a few months ago, and we had talked about, AEW, WWE, and TNA, NXT, like all these companies, how they survive. And it's like there's always going to be shifts in wrestling. One of the ones I see coming up is AJ Styles. Like if AJ is done wrestling forever when that WWE contract ends, that's one thing, right? If the fact is though a certain amount of money could bring him back, I think that's the kind of move that Tony should, roll out the bank book for.
But yeah, and I don't disagree. But is that enough? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, for a company that has like a lot of issues as it, god damn, I'm sweaty as shit now. I was like losing a lung coughing. Oh, but anyway, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's difficult to say, but I do want to get to what you were wanting to talk about, which is the
oh
issue with
yeah, okay.
WBC, and I want to
So,
know how you see this issue. I really do.
well, first of all, I think Crawford and the WBC have valid points. What I took issue to is this
Fair.
this question of oh, we want to know where the money goes because for one, um, we can Google that, and you can Google all those finances. And my biggest issue is it wasn't just Abe, but so many people were like, "Oh my God!" But why did Mauricio have to go to social media and blast Crawford? Right, that was another thing, right?
Yeah,
Mauricio didn't make a social media post. Mauricio made the announcement, and Mario, I don't know how much I know Abe covers, but I know you for a fact have done this boxing media for a very long time.
yeah.
As soon as he stepped off stage, what do you think happened with all that media there?
They all went on social media. All those clips went on social media.
So this narrative that Mauricio went out and blasted Crawford, no. The initial announcement was, "Hey, we've decided for financial reasons to strip Crawford." Now, when I because I who had the first video? Was it Fight Hype? I would
No, I
assume
think it was
because they're usually
boxing scene. I think it was. It
somebody,
might
right?
not have been though.
They
It was
stuck a
somebody.
camera in his face and they wanted him to delve more into it, and he said XYZ. Um, now sanctioning bodies, and first of all, too, like let me not sugarcoat it. The WBC followed this up with some real bullshit in the
Yeah,
following
for
days
real.
because
For
Fulton
real.
Fulton missing weight, and now we're just gonna make you an interim title fight for the weight class above is
Yo,
fucking
that was
insane.
wild.
And did that without flinching.
Wild.
So let me be clear. I'm not a Mauricio
Yeah.
shill. I'm not a WBC shill, but we need to be honest about the facts at hand that took place in that situation.
I'll always admit that when it comes to the people, because there's because there's a lot of people that are full of shit, right? There are a lot of people that are full of shit. Like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm a moderate." No, you're just too much of a pussy to say that you
To
agree
to,
with
to stand on
Republicans
business.
or you agree
Yeah.
with leftists or whatever. You know what I mean? And so then, but when it comes to UMEX, you've always had the same, um, like you've always come from the same place, right? This idea of you are
Consistency.
just asking questions. Like there are very few people out there, very few, that are actually just asking questions. They're really trying to start a narrative. They're really using like political ploys and talking points to like have other people essentially take sound bites and run with them and stuff. I don't believe that's what you're doing at all. Not even a little bit. In fact, you could argue that it's the same thing you're saying, because if you were to have any narrative, it would be the narrative that you'd want to see, like Vince, or not Vince, obviously, like Triple H and TKO and WWE and Prosper, which is, I think, directly connected to the Crawford fight to a degree, right? And so the fact that you are really just asking questions, I can absolutely appreciate. That's why I never felt like you were pom-pomming or anything at all. I do think you're wrong about this one thing, right? And it's that, because I agree with a lot of what you were saying, but this one thing is Mauricio Suleiman knew full well what was going to happen on this day of the that they had their meeting shit or whatever country it was in this time, and he knew he went there with an agenda. So he was going to have like X amount of talking points, right?
Sure.
And all these talking points were centered around this mainframe idea of what he was doing. He was trying to like make an example of Crawford, right? Here's the thing. He could have come to Terrence. He could have said, look, you haven't paid your fees. At the end of the day, I'm not like, why embarrass him at that point? Why even talk about the situation at all? If your belt is about keeping it with money, or money being the precipice for earning it, then you have to change, first of all, what your mission statement is. But second of all, you are politicizing the issue, right? To suggest that not paying it somehow is taking out of the pockets of broken down fighters that are treated terribly in the sport.
But see,
It's
that's where I have
ridiculous,
an
because
issue.
no one knows that. No one
wasn't
knows that at all.
That's where I have an issue, though. Is that's not what he suggested. That's how you guys have interpreted it. The person asked him, "What do we use these fees for?" And he said, "Well, we have this. We have to pay these fees, and then we have a fund." And I've rewatched that video because I've heard
I'm
this.
gonna
Oh,
rewatch it.
he's saying that he never said Crawford took that away from them. He just said these are what we use the funds for. Somewhere along the line, it's like the telephone game. So he's saying Crawford took the. No, that's not what he said. He said, you asked, what are these funds for? This is what we have. We have the Jose Suleiman Fund. We have fighters that come up. Now, again, to your point, yes, of course, he knew once he made that announcement, that's going to be all the questions he's asked about, obviously, right? But also, and what has the agenda been of Tricky out Cheek in the ring? I mean, this is deeper, and people don't want to hear this, but the fact of the matter is, especially after his little video, Crawford, he's a pawn in this game. When he ends his video with, the ring belt is the only belt that matters. Hey, Turkey, I hope what you got planned happens. Let's get these guys out of boxing. That didn't just start. There's been issues already surrounding bodies, obviously, with Zuffa boxing, and we know who Bud is aligned with. Keep in mind, like I said, according, and it's all a he said, she said. It's a big mess.
A lot of it's innuendo. A lot of it's, people assuming. I will say that a lot of these assumptions have been right so far. You know what I mean? Like, people have absolutely clocked TKO's movements, Turkey's movements, Saudi's movements, in all of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so the battle lines are being drawn here, right? And I'm gonna say it, Crawford is being used as a pawn. For his sake, he's got to hope he's on the right side of history, but also too, like Errol Spence said it best. Errol Spence was like, "Well, and it's true. He did bring that up in their press conference almost 4 years ago. Hey, where do these go?" Crawford didn't speak up then. Crawford didn't stand on it then with him. Spence stood there alone on that stage, and and called out the sanctioning bodies. Hey, y'all are taking all these funds out of this mega fight. Where is this money going? And another point Errol said this past weekend was, why didn't you address it with Mauricio ahead of time? And why, just be honest. Say, hey man, I only intend on getting this title to accomplish 3 times undisputed. You know, and it's a look, man. People got on my head about this the other day at TBV when I brought this up. This isn't new for Crawford. Mario, you were around all those years ago, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Crawford has had a history of not wanting to pay for services after the fact. We remember what happened with the body shop owner.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah. So whether you want to get mad about it or say, oh, first of all, somebody said, oh, it's because he's Mexican. If you think I hate Crawford because of this color of his skin, no, because Mario, I'm a diehard Spence guy till the wheels fall off. Um, but I mean, the facts are the facts, brother. That this is traced, and now Mauricio allegedly claims that, and we do have proof of that they petitioned to be number one because, and that was always my big active contrition on our active contestant on TBV was like, well, how's he winning this title, but also petitioning to be ranked number one if you're already a champion? I thought you can't be, so that's the problem with sanctioning bodies altogether is we bend and break the rules when it fits our narrative at the moment. So
Yeah,
like I
no,
said,
no.
they're both
I
they're both heels in the situation. They both have valid points, but they're
oof.
both the heel.
Yeah. Listen, that's a lot of what you're saying. I think is absolutely true. And but here's the thing. Like for me, that's part of the problem. Like I don't think that you saying that Crawford's being played like a pawn. I don't think you're wrong. But I also think that's the problem, right? The problem is that the fighters for so long have become like minor parts in all of
They're
this.
chess
Like
pieces.
it took this massive conglomeration between Turkey buying the ring and TKO absorbing the two major brands, right, in combat sports. It took that to happen for there to be this consorted effort, right? Look, I don't think that using the UFC as a model for why we should get rid of the Ali Act is at all
Yeah,
like
that's
it,
disgusting.
it's not good. It's not a valid argument. It's not something that makes me think, oh, you know what? You're right. It's like, oh, well, the best fight the best. Like, yeah, well, also like a lot of them get paid dog shit. And it's like, I'm not even trying to
Hmm.
virtue saying like, oh, I'm about to fight, but there's a lot of issues with the UFC, right? And more importantly, there's issues with the UFC as it relates to them not being the monopoly they are today. Like, go back into, the history books. How many times did we not get the big fight that we wanted? GSP, Nick Diaz, that shit should have happened like 3 years.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, all these different types of fights, but it wasn't until
We
UFC
still,
absorbed
we
them,
still,
controlled them.
not even then, because we still can't get John Jones in the ring with Aspinall. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Ngannou.
Bro, exactly. Because these guys, once they reach a point like Crawford, where it's like, okay, I've proven that I am this guy in this sport at this level. And whether or not he sells as much as Floyd or as much as like anyone else, or even outside of Oklahoma altogether, or yeah, Omaha altogether, right? It doesn't matter. He has earned this spot. He's earned this position. Here's the other thing about it. Do we even know that Crawford's fighting again? Like, I'm not saying that the
So
rematch
that
is
that
going
see
to happen,
that
but it's like, do we
that's
even know that? Like, Mauricio, it made
so
this
that
whole
that's
thing.
and
Go ahead.
that's what Ness said is confusing. Is like, surely there was a conversation. Ness has said it best. There's something we don't know yet still, because obviously, and this was at a Crawford's own mouth. The only reason he wanted to fight Canelo was the opportunity at 3 times undisputed. So there had to have been some conversation about the sanction and things like that with the WBC. Now, what information are we not knowing? Are we not privy to?
Now, I think.
Because
Go ahead. Sorry.
what I want to say is because I think me, you, anybody, most people just assumed this was a one-off to begin with. Like, as well as he performed against Canelo, Canelo's still a small 168 pounder. I don't expect Crawford to be campaigning at super middleweight. And he's had
At
already talked
all.
about coming down back to middleweight
His
for the
trainer had said it.
WBC title.
Exactly.
So there's a wire that got crossed somewhere, and we don't know the full details.
See, please tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. I'm gonna say
I
this
always
right
will.
now, Mex, and I for sure, but in this case right now, please tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like I know Ness on a personal level probably better than like 97% of the people in the industry, right?
Absolutely.
So I know a lot about him, and I know a lot about what he knows and what he doesn't know. So when I say that this is what he is not getting, or this is what he is missing, or what he thinks we're not being told, it's not that he's wrong. It's that he doesn't involve himself with anything outside of boxing. So what he isn't realizing is how much of this is hindering on the fact that they have moved these chess pieces on the board to fully take over this, combat sports in general, right? What we're not being told here is the WBC is fully aware of all intentions that the ring has to offer itself as the only title in boxing, right? As a main drawing power to get people to fight in their league and outside of what the wild, wild west of boxing, as they try to put it, right? The thing that we're not seeing as boxing fans is what you and I can see from a wrestling perspective, or what Matt can see as a fan of WWE, UFC, and boxing. He can see it. It's this concerted effort they're all making, and Mauricio knows that what's best for his business is for boxing to continue in the manner for which it's continued this whole time, to eliminate all the sanctioning bodies in favor of a UFC version of a boxing belt. Absolutely kills his business model, right? And that's the one thing with D-Style that I disagreed with. Everybody keeps saying, and tell me real quick, tell me what you think. Is the WBC a business or not? So many people have been saying, no, it's a nonprofit. Some people say, no, a nonprofit that acts in this manner is a business because they're doing business-like things that make money.
So exactly. So me,
what is the WBC? Are they a business? Are they a nonprofit? Is there a distinguishment?
So that's the thing is even a nonprofit, you have business expenses. They have a payroll. They have bills.
Jen,
Which
Mex
is why
has been on the show a bunch of times, bro. A bunch of times. And I would literally ban him before I booted him. I would literally ban you before I booted him. So shut the fuck up.
it's wild.
Bro, why are people
hating.
in the chat saying you're racist, bro?
I told you it's because of what I brought up with Crawford. Yeah, it's got to be that. It's because I said you have
whack,
to because we bring
Ness
up
don't ever
facts.
tell him shit.
I don't give a shit, bro. I've done this a long time.
Yeah, but you,
the people who know me know.
That's not what we should.
You know what I mean?
You're right. No, I know you're right. Go ahead, say what you were gonna say. I'm sorry, I shouldn't.
But regardless, so they act as a business in a certain point. Listen, so you're very valid in everything you just said, but that's where I agree with Ness. It's like, but why would Mauricio's going to protect his business? Why would he continue to have been doing business with Crawford, knowing
because he wanted to be part of that Canelo fight? He had to be.
100%.
First of all, they put because you said it. I heard you say this the other day. Remember, it was in the chat or maybe it was on TBV. But I heard you say something about the WBC being a brand that Crawford profited off of. I think you might have said it on Twitter. I don't remember, but you are absolutely right. But that brand is what's at stake.
So
right?
so listen, but that's what I'm saying is you don't do that without some kind of. That's what I'm saying. That's what I agree with Ness is. There had to have been some sort of conversation that there's some assurances of, hey, because this fight, again, like I brought up earlier, this fight was based off of Crawford attempting to be 3-time undisputed in the third division. Without that WBC belt on board, they needed each other. That fight, if he doesn't if somehow no foe, there's going to be an agreement and we're going to get paid. That belt ain't on the line, and this wasn't an undisputed fight. So that's where I feel like that's the information where we just don't know what happened from that point on. At some point, they agreed, yes, titles on the line. Obviously, yes, the WBC wants their belt in that big fight. But without that belt, too, the fight doesn't happen because Crawford was only chasing 3-time undisputed.
Man, it's such a fucking hard thing, Max. I want to disagree with you because I've been on the side against sanctioning bodies for almost my entire career.
And I still
right?
am too. Don't get me wrong. Like I said,
No,
they
no, no.
pulled some
I
real
know
bullshit.
No, and you made that preface. If some of these people that are making these comments, and a lot of people just jumped on, that's why. Go back, okay, please, to the last like 20 minutes we've been having this conversation, or maybe like 10, 15. And listen to the whole thing, right? Mex has been extremely fair, okay? Extremely fair. Not once would I say that he's attacked Crawford, nor do I think he's pom-pomming for the WBC. I think you're asking honest questions. And what it boils down to is if Crawford took this Canelo fight, knowing that Undisputed was a big part of it, so the WBC had to be a part of it, and he took the fight with all the same sort of, contracts and innuendos and all the things that are normally given for that fight, meaning that he knows what the WBC fees are. He knows what is to be paid. He knows all that, right? And he made that deal and he didn't pay it. That's like the crux of it. And like, if you position it that way and it's like, oh, he was a man and he went against his word.
And it looks bad. But you know what else looks bad is Mario, and a lot of people, but me and you have been doing this a long time. What's confusing to I know this got to be confusing you because it confuses me. I know it confuses Ness. Anybody that's been in media, the fees are usually taken out in advance of the event. That's where I think there's so much of even me and you, like, we just don't know what the fuck's going on because this is kind of strange.
Well, I'll tell you that I know that there had been certain fights where Floyd didn't pay his WBC fees, and then would later put up an amount for them that would be like probably a little bit more than he should have owed. And so we've seen it at the top level. I think a lot of people that they have a problem with is they don't think Crawford's big enough to do what Floyd did or what other guys like Floyd did. I think that's a lot of what people are upset about too, which is,
and I think that's the whole issue is Crawford is bigger than the belt at this point. I think so. If you're on the side of the WBC, right, like some people are, I think their argument is you still needed him to get there. At least, pay what you owed, and then going forward, you're bigger than the belt.
See, and this is where I feel like it's nuanced. And this is why I think like guys like De La Hoya are so full of shit, because it's like, yo, Oscar, don't tell me that go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you because I think we're on the same line. Because remember, Oscar was mad at the WBC when they called out Canelo all those years ago.
Exactly.
So it's like I said, with these things, it's when it fits. It's like anything else when it comes to these sanctioning bodies. It's when it fits the narrative. It's when it fits you. We talk about the WBA, what benefits Al. That's all these sanctioning bodies. What Bob orders, what benefits Al, like what benefits Canelo. Like these, that's the problem, and that's why Turkey and the ring can come in and be such a threat because you guys have no control.
Word. And I will say this though, real quick, because there's a few people that have made this comment now. And shout out to everybody on Twitch, shout out to everybody on IG. What the fuck? Oh, damn it. We lost IG. Sorry, guys. But anyway, some people have made this comment, right? And they're talking about like the racial aspects associated with this story, right? And so like from your perspective, Mex, I don't feel any of those tones associated. right? And now I've known you long enough where it's easy for me to say that, but I'll be honest, I think anybody who has gotten that from you from this full spot on the show today, I think they're looking for that shit, right? I think they're just they
Yeah,
got some
you're
other
looking to
beef
be a
or other
victim.
shit or whatever. So all I'm
But
gonna say is this though: there are people out there. I have comments on my fucking TikTok and my fucking IGs where it's like, oh, this is what blacks in boxing always do. They always think they're bigger than the sport. Like literally, I have 4
which is fucking
different
atrocious.
messages on those different things. Like, and that's what I think a lot of other people that are weirdos have an issue with. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a consorted thing where
It's a
they like gang up on, and you know what I mean? And it makes the situation seem a lot weirder than
worse.
it is. Or
Yeah,
worse than it is.
because
Thank you, worse than it is.
you get that right, and then like it's gonna sound like I'm out here being the Crawford basher, but it doesn't help when Crawford comes on his live and says, "Oh, you were mad because I beat Canelo." The Mexican, you know what I mean? And we all know the WBC is based out of Mexico, so that just gives more
You're
undertones.
right, dude. You're so right. No, I need you to listen to me right now. What you just said. I need everybody to listen to me. What you just said is so fucking amazing because you're right. There are people who enjoy boxing who are not hardcores, right? They don't listen to the podcast and they didn't grow up on the, Burt Sugars of the world. And, they didn't listen to Dan when he was on ESPN or even before, or, you know what I mean? Like all these guys and all this nuances that we've gained, right? So we know that when Crawford said, okay, so what people hear when Crawford says what he says, oh, I beat Canelo, that turns it racial for a lot of people. It's like, oh, yeah, you're saying Mexicans stick together. Mexicans, oh, yeah, you know what? You're just a Floyd. And it's like, bro, he literally did a lot of different things than Floyd ever did, made boxing way better than Floyd did, I think, more
Yeah,
exciting wise.
that
But
that's what's
real
nuts to
quick,
me. Go
though,
ahead.
but you and I and a lot of us that have followed boxing for years, we know what that comment really means. What that comment really means is that boxing, what's popping is Latin stars, right? Specifically Mexico's. Canelo is the cash cow. Canelo's been y'all's cash cow. You've bent over backwards. You've overlooked certain drug tests. And at the end of the day, you catered to this man to the point that you never thought I was going to really beat him. So you're mad. You're mad that you lost
Hmm.
the belt. This is, you know what? Let me tell you right now. If Mauricio Suleiman could go back in time to the Crawford Canelo fight, he would have Vince McMahoned his ass to that fucking ring announcer, and he would have said, "Ring the fucking bell. Canelo just won. Crawford quit." And just fucking Montreal screw job that
See,
whole fucking bitch right there.
but so this is where again, this is where I said this beef. This is where I say Crawford is just a pawn in a bigger beef. He couldn't Montreal Screwdriver. You know why? Because he wasn't the lead dog there. Who was the lead dog in that fight?
Canelo. That's what I'm saying.
Nope.
For Canelo, I meant.
Turkey Alex Sheep. Turkey Alex Sheep.
Oh, let me hear this conspiracy, dog. Go ahead.
Who put all this together?
Turkey.
Who got the bag? Delivered the bag to Canelo? Who? And,
Turkey. That was my
and you
like
know what?
savior
For
voice.
all this too. Look, listen. He's not a newcomer. Let me tell you something. This fight, if this fight proved anything to us, because
What did it prove,
remember,
champ? What did it prove?
because remember, but a year ago, Crawford was saying Canelo was too big. What it proves is the eye for boxing that Turkey Al Sheikh has, because he said, "No, Crawford, you can beat that guy. I see it."
Bro,
And
you turned what sounded like a beautiful soliloquy into gobble gobble on Turkey. Really? This is what you had? You literally
think
had me
about,
on the edge of my
listen.
seat, and then you just glazed Turkey's matchmaking skills.
Tell me where it's wrong. Because look,
I don't
now
buy that he's okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
nobody but Turkey was thinking Canelo Crawford. Not a soul.
Uh, no, I
Even
disagree.
Crawford
I think
himself.
nobody but Turkey could actually make that a reality. I'll say it that way.
I don't think so.
You
I
don't
think
think that if Oscar could have just put on Canelo Crawford, he
you
would have? You don't think if
you don't
Eddie could have
think
just put it on, he would have?
so. You don't think Netflix and Jake could have got that deal done? They were fixing to have Canelo and Jake.
Yes, 100% they could have got it done. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes. No. Again, that adds to only Turkey would have the bag to be able to go up against Logan.
But
Man, dude, you're saying a
listen,
lot right here. This is a really, man, I
li-
wish that we had more boxing heads
listen,
on today because
listen.
this
But
is really
also, it's
good.
not just that he had the but like, I, let's be honest. Even Canelo said it. Turkey, your uncle Turkey. Turkey's going for you. Turkey wants you to win. Turkey's not investing this to
Ooh.
lose.
Yo, that's crazy. That's really crazy. So, like, I get where you're going with this, right? It's like only Turkey had that bag. And if you look at it, what you're saying essentially is like, because when you look, you go ask ChatGPT who the biggest fighters in the world are, Jake Paul's in that list, top 3 for sure, every time, right?
As
Amongst
he should
Canelo,
be.
Tank, AJ, as he should be, as the numbers direct it to be. I'm not somebody who's against facts. That said, though, he's an entity separate from everything else. Despite his,
Hmm.
work with DAZN and all that and Netflix, he is an outside instead. I was literally Turkey. It's been Turkey versus everybody, and he's been winning because that bag is literally it's like a bottomless money pit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. At this point, everything you're saying makes me wonder now, can TKO afford to lose this one? Can they afford to lose what they've put into boxing? Could they just like if they lose, right? If they
Hmm.
lose everything and they don't get things the way they want, do they have enough skin in the game that they can't just go, fuck it. Let's just worry about the wrestling and the MMA. You know what I mean? I wonder. You're making me wonder. But
Because I mean, look, and like I'll say this, it was, and I could be wrong, but this is just my hypothesis. This is my thinking, and obviously it's all hindsight, but it looks like it was a perfectly laid trap to, in their minds, knock off the top dogs who had a. I mean, let's be honest. The WBC was kissing Canelo's ass and was going to do what he wanted until the day, and they still will. But you knocked him off. You laid the trap. He said, hey. He said, hey, give me 200 million for Benavidez. And Turkey says, no. But we'll give you 150 or whatever it may be for Crawford. And Canelo took that fight thinking, I can beat this guy. He's too small.
mm,
We all thought that. We all knew that he said it. And he got beat. The trap was laid. You have to have faith that Crawford can beat him. You have to know deep down that he can beat him for you to lay all this is an investment into the future of the company,
mm,
because Canelo proved also he's not he they done business together, but he's not like these other fighters act around Turkey,
mm.
because Canelo is the name. Well, now we knocked him off, and our boy, who knocked off the PBC's guy and the rest of boxing's guy, now we have him on our chessboard. It's a perfectly laid
Word.
trap.
Word. I like that, bro. I like that a lot. That's nice. Listen, I'm gonna let you go, champ. I
Cool,
appreciate
bro.
you tapping in. I appreciate every single aspect of this that you broke down. A lot of clips here, champ. I appreciate it.
Hey, real quick, because I meant to. I was texted this about, and I said I would ask, so I'm a man of my word, and I'll ask. That way, it's on audio, so I can just send it over. There's a rumor, a heavy rumor, that Mario Munguia is thinking about making a return to Border Wars. Can you comment on that?
Yo, champ.
And the
You
main man
asked it.
himself texts me and asks me and says, "Is Mario wanting to come back?" And I said, "I will find out for you." So,
Yo, the
Mario,
the
are you coming back? Is
Yo,
this
the
true?
rumor mill is just popping. Let me tell you, first and foremost, I want to have a longer conversation with you about this, but yeah, the rumors are true. I feel like I haven't lost weight for no reason. I feel like there's a bigger reason there. I feel like 2026 could help me capitalize off of the growth that Border Wars has had. I participated in Border Wars at a time, I'll be honest, where it was the least valuable product on TBV, right? Obviously, the show's always been number one. I feel like Boxing Bars was bigger when I was on versus Border Wars,
Hmm.
right? That said, I feel like the time is right for me to utilize my current brand and product and space in the to capitalize off of that. And you know, I really wanted to start streaming from the gym. I really wanted to start putting out like gym stuff. And I felt like, why am I doing it? Like, I'm just trying to like show everybody how much weight I lost. Like, what am I capping? Like, who's that for? Right. I'm not trying to fuck nobody. Like, I'm happily married. And so it's like, there's got to be a reason. And Border Wars, boom, it hit my head. That's the reason.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I want to talk to you about it, man.
Yeah, we will. I'll say this, hey man, I'll pass the word along. As long as you're gonna get your book, we'll take it from there. I do know March in Orlando
Actually,
is the
we
next
do
one.
have my book. Ness said that it's super
Ooh.
easy to renew it because I'm sure it's expired. It's been about 8 years now.
Oh
since
yeah,
I've
and
had
it's
it
the end of
active.
the year too. So get that done. Look, because I would love to fight in the same card. I know we're working to finalize the rematch with me
That's
and Santi.
part of the conversation that I wanted to have with you, champ. That's right.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. Before
right.
I go, also, when it comes to Border Wars, Quan, where's your book? Show your book. You blew the weight for the Marvin fight. Look, it's cool if
Damn.
you want to beat the champ, but you didn't make the weight. You're not the champion unless you prove to us with the book. So hashtag show your book. Make sure it's trending everywhere. Mario, I'm gonna let you go, man.
Champ.
Appreciate you letting me jump on. I've talked to Matt. When I move to this house after next year, I'm gonna really buckle down and make a day or two. I'll be on TBV more. I'll be on here more. So I won't be doing
Champ.
my own show, but I'm gonna be just, guest
Hell
sniping
yeah.
wherever I can, brother.
Bro, and you could just put the clips out like that. That would probably build faster than an actual show would, actually.
Yeah. But all right, man.
Champ. All right, man. Take it easy. Appreciate you. That was Super Mex. All right, the champ of all champs. Shout out to Cody Burris in the chat. Said, don't forget on YouTube tonight. Yeah, bro. I'll be honest. I've been seeing those clips of the John Cena interview, and man, I've been wanting to watch it. I really have been wanting to watch it. I'll say this. I think that the timing of the Rogan interview is kind of perfect. I wish he would have done the interview like 2 weeks ago, right? Or like whatever. I forget how Rogan schedules his shows. I remember I think he books like a week out or like 2 weeks out. Whatever. But I wish they would have been able to have it last week so that he could have had the full run cycle of the news, and then get to this tonight, because tonight's going to be more of like wrestling, right? As opposed to what that show was with Rogan, which was kind of like a free for all. Yeah, right after WWE Raw, the interview drops. I will super be tuned in, and then we'll definitely discuss it tonight. Hold on. Yo, did you call?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to jump on?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll go by.
Okay. Well, hit me up. Let me know.
Well, do you have any? What's it called?
Yeah. Okay. Later. All right. All right. Anyway. Where the fuck was I? I was about to. All right. So I want to get back into the John Cena conversation. It's a shame, I think, though, that it's a shame that they utilize all of his dates. I think it would have been nice to at least get like some sort of face off with Gunther. I knew from the moment that this was like the way it was shaping out, it wasn't going to be what I hoped it would be. It wasn't going to be what I think a lot of Cena fans really want. That doesn't mean it can't be great. That doesn't mean it can't be a fitting tribute, right? That said, I don't know. I don't even know how much the match is worth without some sort of like initial face off or promo or segment together, even if it's like a pre-clip. Uh um yeah, it just for me feels like it falls a little flat, right? You have a lot of people expecting or wanting something fitting for the final showdown, right? The final match. Um, Hold on. I want to down real quick. Damn it, that's not it at all. Yeah, I saw that too. It was AJ Styles' son. And it was who else was it? It was John Cena's dad. We had talked about it earlier too. Because no, not John Cena's son. It was AJ Styles' son. Yeah, that's who it was. And that's why we were talking about it earlier too. It was like AJ Styles is in his final run, right? And I don't think it's gone very well, but I also don't think it's really had its run yet. Obviously they want to finish the Cena retirement run before before it's too late, right? Before it's doesn't work anymore. They want to finish it up that way they can move on to the AJ Styles stuff, and I'm assuming there's going to be like a Good Brothers reunion at some point. It's just like not going to hit all the same notes, right? I would much rather prefer that AJ do like a final, even like if it's like a 6-month run, outside the company, just to like pay tribute to his New Japan stuff, which I really have always appreciated so much. I don't know if we get it. I don't know if he's even somebody who would be willing to do that, but they're still. Yeah, I don't have it though. Like it's not even a situation where I think, oh, you can't really say what is going on. I mean, I think personally, John Cena's final match, this is like all they have left for the rest of the year. I mean, I don't expect any other, sort of bookings or anything like that to happen from this point forward. Like, why would they? Especially that they have Braun Breaker and CM Punk, wrestling January 5th in a match that I'm certain I feel Breaker's gonna win. I or at least I'm not certain, but I'm leaning much more to a Breaker win than CM Punk retaining, especially if the rumors are true that they're going Roman-Cody. You have to assume Seth is not going to be, in any plans for Mania. You have to assume that Breaker is going to have at least the night one main event, I'd assume. But if they're going to run Cody Roman 3 back so soon, only a year removed from not doing anything with them, like, I don't know. I just think that you could have more time to space it out. Like when that match were to happen, they need to pull out all the stops. It needs to feel like a big fight. It needs to feel like Joshua fucking Fury. It needs to feel like a Joshua Fury fight would be in the UK. It needs to feel huge. You're talking about the two biggest wrestlers, right, in the world, certainly in the company, wrestling to decide the rubber match. Like, how rare is it in wrestling that we actually get these defining matches, right? And that kind of brings me to the whole thing surrounding like Mania and the booking and where we were this year. You know, Matt Machine Gun, he called it a scratched year, right? And I think that was such an accurate way of putting it. I don't think it has to be that though. I don't think it has to be, you know, a scratch year or anything like that. I think that it can be a situation where you have people get over that you continue to push as you work away from like main narrative rosters, right? So like Breaker gets over on Roman this year. I think it has to happen. I think Cody dropping his spot as a face probably should happen. It's like a lot of different shakeups. And the reason why I think some of these shakeups just don't happen is because the political nature of wrestling has only increased. At a time where I thought Triple H was going to come in and he was going to be a guy who was more direct about his vision for what he wanted, more direct about his approach, right? Like I heard Wrestle Talk talking about this the other day. They were like talking about long-term booking and how long-term booking's never like a thing where it happens like, you know what I mean, for a long time. What's going on? Ash, is that you? Oh, you're on mute.
Hello, it's me.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not not much. I just wanted to call and talk about a video I saw about John Cena. It was a younger guy, probably like, I don't know, 25 or so, and he was scolding other men that I assume have been making fun of the wrestling fans that have been crying about John Cena leaving, specifically
I've
male
seen that.
fans.
I've seen that.
And yeah, I found it very interesting, like it's just crazy because part of camaraderie between men is sports, is wrestling, is all of those things, but not all men, most men take sports really intense, and so it's weird to see men like making fun of other men being upset about John Cena when sports are such a big thing in the male world. You know what I mean?
Very much so. Very apropos. Thank you for that. Yeah, I actually would love to discuss that just a little bit. I appreciate it. Was that it?
Yep, that was it. That's all I wanted to.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
I appreciate it. Yeah, listen, I actually if you could send me that video, that'd be great. If you're still listening.
I will send it
Uh
to you shortly.
awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's interesting. It's very interesting to me why so many people find it or like have a problem with the Cena fandom. Um, it's weird. Like, I mean, because here's the thing: like, I can sit here and fully admit that I was part of the culture that absolutely despised John Cena and his dominance and his reign and the constant, you know, favorable booking that he received. You know, I was part of the John Cena sucks, you know, fandom. Um, but even I today, right now, can see the value of John Cena. I can see what he provides as a character and even as like just as a human being, right? He just seems authentic. I don't know if a lot of people saw this weekend, but he did like a camp with Bailey, or like it was like Bailey's camp, and they invited John Cena. He supposedly stayed there for like 8 hours and just like, you know, shot like he was just like shooting the shit about wrestling with people who, you know, that information is more valuable to them than anyone in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to like go on a podcast or like whatever, but it's another thing to like have these connections with people like that. You know what I mean? And like, you're not going to tell me John Cena, you know, does like has enough off time, right? This is a guy who's like does everything. I watched this show on Apple TV called Plurbius. It's an awesome show. I recommend you watch it. If you like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, you'll love this show. It is awesome. Also, if you're a fan of sci-fi or Rick and Morty, you'll love this show. It's so good. It's about like an alien virus takes over all of the world, and only like 11 or 12 people aren't infected. And so this virus, it like connects everyone in the world. So they're all the same person. So it's like you're talking to like 5 people, but they're all one like host. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, John Cena was just on this show. Like this past week, the newest episode on Friday. It's an Apple TV show. He was just on it, you know, and he played as himself, knocked it out of the park. He was hilarious. And it's like this dude just shows up to give his weekend to a bunch of upstart wrestlers, you know. That says something, I think, about the character. And especially when you look back at our heroes in wrestling, you know, guys like Hulk Hogan who, you know, they really weren't everything we thought they would be. Or he didn't live up to the character. And who could, right? I mean, that character was like ridiculous. It's like the American hero guy, you know, and really nobody's ever that. But like, you know, guys like Ultimate Warrior, it's like all your heroes like at some point let you down for the most part. And I just can't imagine John Cena's really let many of his fans down, you know. So to make fun of dudes that are or girls or women or whatever, kids, whatever, that are finding this week emotional, I don't know. I think you're probably the one that's like sadder than most. I mean, I don't know. It's nice to care about something that isn't like rotted in corruption or bullshit. You know, like to just for a moment take a step back and like live in this fantasy world for a couple hours, you know, each week. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I don't know, maybe it's the thing that keeps people sane, right? Maybe the people that are fucking nuts are the people that make like politics their entire fucking life or their entire character, right? I saw this girl who she did a spot. I forgot what show it was. Dude, she was like a psycho. She's this woman running for office in Texas somewhere, like a fucking nutbag, you know, like just like saying things that people, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't know if people heard what happened this past week with Dan Bongino, and like everybody was talking about how like the dude who did the Washington pipe bombs, right? And like back when he wasn't the assistant FBI director or whatever, he was saying how, oh, you know, the FBI is hiding all this shit and blah, blah. And so they asked him about it. I think he was on MSNBC or Fox or something. And they asked him about it. And he was like, well, you said this. And now you're saying like, oh, the FBI is hiding nothing. And he was like, well, you know, back then I was on the media platform. You know, back then I was in the media. So that was more of an entertainment answer. And it's like, dude, people believe your bullshit. People have no idea that you're just doing this for entertainment. I don't know. In a world where people lie all the time, it's kind of nice that John Cena is pretty much exactly what he presents. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a mark. 28 minutes until the countdown to Raw begins. Champ Cody Burris always letting us know where we're at on Mondays. I'm going to go ahead and tap out for the day. I'm covering Raw at 7. So I want to make sure that everybody is or I want to make sure that I have the time to you know, get everything clipped and everything. So appreciate everybody that tapped in. We'll be live tomorrow. No Twitch stream tonight. So I know it sucks, but we got a couple things going on in the background, a couple other projects I'm working on too. So yeah, appreciate everybody that tapped in. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. We're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, X, and IG. I mean, I don't even know if we're gonna be on IG anymore. This fucking thing like literally goes out every single time. Oh, somebody else is coming in. Hell yeah, Matt. Let's run that collab this week, champ. I'm down for sure. I think we're gonna have D-Style on tomorrow. Hopefully he was working today, so couldn't tap in, but I really want to get him on talk about Cena, get his takes on this final week. And yeah, probably just going to be bringing a bunch of people in tomorrow. We're going to do my top 3 favorite Cena moments. We're going to dig into them. Some of my favorite runs. Nah, I don't think so, champ. Send me a link though. If you send me a link, I'll look at it. But yeah, so we'll tap in that with doing that tomorrow. Appreciate everybody that tapped in. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit the follow. Please share. Yeah, and until tomorrow, peace.